What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome to pdExes.
Yes, the podcast where we tell your shitty dating stories or
Talk about
pretty much just talk about anything.
Yeah.
At this point.
Food,
Mm-hmm.
travel.
Mm-hmm.
We're just life connoisseurs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about everything.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a lot of shitty dating stories. We're not like trying to like talk about other stuff because we don't have crazy stories.
Yeah, I think
we are just bad at staying on topic. We have ideas of how we want the podcast to go, and like 30 minutes in, we're just like,
who's driving this bus?
But this is how our conversations just happen.
Yes.
This is just natural.
Yes, natural
and
progression.
so, yeah, it's just really fun because we're going to do this regardless of, And what's funny is Alexa was saying the podcast, My Favorite Murder, which is great. We love them. But they were saying that they had to stop talking on the phone because they were like giving up all these moments.
Yes.
And to that, I mean, I know that that's a thing because I always worry about, oh my God, we're going to, talk about everything. But we legit talk the same amount on the phone now
as
we
before.
do the podcast, and we just have a notes, that we just
shared
note.
app. Yep, that's
and we just
best.
we write that down so we can talk about it.
We did have a unanimous vote though that when I come over, we just have to start immediately.
Oh yes.
We can't mix and mingle because we let a few too many jokes go that we just couldn't fake for the actual.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
we
so
just got to get
fake.
the cameras rolling because we'll get in the mode.
Because I mean, we've covered quite a few shitty exes. I would say of mine, but Bestie Boo in San Diego, that was pretty shitty too. It has been really refreshing to know that I wasn't crazy in that situation when I went to Seattle, and to see my friends at work that come to me and their eyes are they're like, what the fuck? Like,
I did not know it was that crazy. You know what I mean? Like I remember we talked about it, but like hearing it and then hearing it from your perspective. I mean, again, the guy could have not been crazy.
Right.
He could have just been pulling over to talk.
Of course.
Whatever. But these are the things that a woman has to think about.
Right.
And you can't let your guard down.
Right.
And when this thing happens, your brain immediately is like, get the door handle, turn, unclick, get ready, just in case. And it sucks that women have to feel that way.
Well, and being able to have these conversations about people who've heard the episode where we talk about tasers and we talk about pepper spray. And I have people approaching me and they're like, thank you so much. I had no idea pepper spray could fall in so many ways.
I talked to Greg and we were talking about pepper spray and he was like, oh yeah, I got my pepper spray. And I was like, do you know it could fail? And he's like, no. I was like, do you know it could run out? He's like, no. And then when I explained, he was like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. And had we not talked about it, I mean, like,
we just need that awareness. If I could help one person out there, if I could help one person cultivate a little more awareness to make themselves not a victim and to make themselves like safe and just give you a little more tools for your tool chest.
Right.
Like that's the whole thing with this.
Well, that's like how martial arts and stuff works. Is you're basically kind of training people to react in a specific way.
Right.
So when something happens, you're immediately like, oh shit.
Right.
I practice this. Where when you don't, nobody's explaining anything to you. Then you just, oh, here's a guy trying to get into my car, pepper spray in the car. Oh shit. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, I tried my pepper spray out 2 years ago and I still have it. It's what I'm holding on to. You go to use it, doesn't work. Right. So it's like those things where you're like, the conversation is really good. And I appreciate the conversation about it. And we've talked about this, but like nothing makes me more prouder as a brother than to have my sister just be a boss ass bitch and be like, nobody's, following you to my car or, gonna wait for you when you're gonna get in your car or whatever. I mean, hopefully nothing ever happens, but just like, just knowing awareness that you're like ready. Cause I don't know what the fuck I would do in that situation. I'd be like, need to get a taser so I can hopefully don't ever need to use it. But
I did bring mine in case we do need a demo.
Yeah. But yeah.
So I mean, if there's any story that you want to share that people can benefit from, like, please write in. We have the email. Right. We really want to get some, good information out there for people.
So, and we have talked about this before, but like, how are the apps? Has anybody come for your existence yet? Again, Are you finding any successes? Because I have my apps, and even though I'm married, I still get on to just chit chat with people. It's okay. It's just where I go to like say hi to specific friends that might not be on Facebook or whatever. But I still pop in. But I mean,
I have them. I'm swiping. It's funny because there's the last guy I dated. We kind of had a funny little moment where I just basically gave him my phone because you have never seen what dating app looks like from the female side.
True.
So I was dating this guy, we were hanging out, and I gave him my phone, and he's kind of like swiping, like yes, no, no, loser, no, no, gross, no, blah, and I'm giggling, right, because it was just so funny. And so we stopped talking, couple weeks go by. I'm kind of okay with entertaining the idea of maybe opening these apps again. Right. I said, it's all about being willing to create these new experiences, right? I have to be, I want to go out and date. And yeah, there's one kid, and he wrote me, and it was really cute. And there's a picture on Hinge, which is a little more enjoyable for me as I'm going on, especially after I call myself out and everyone knows that I talk all this shit about Bumble. So now I'm sure if you see me on Bumble, that's an automatic no, because I'm just apparently. So I'm on Hinge, and this one kid, he just wrote back to one of my pictures, and it was really funny because in that separate folder, it shows you the people who like you,
right?
And I could see a grayed out picture, but I could see that someone had wrote me something, so I kind of like swiped left to get to that message, and it popped up, and it's a picture of me drinking a beer, and the caption says, "Dating me will look like." And it's, me drinking a beer and my tattoos. And normally people respond and they're like, "Nice tats. I love your tats." Right. And it's just like, shoulder shrug. And he wrote back and he goes like, "How do I apply?" And I was like, And I wrote back. I was like, well, it's a really extensive interview process. And it's going to take, it could be a very long, drawn out process, but the application process is open right now and available. And he wrote me back like so fast and was just like, "Let me know if you want to meet for an in-person interview. I have references."
Oh my God.
It was high level.
I live for that.
It was high level.
My best friend, Dave, and I, that's all we do is like, we would text, and it was like coming up with the fastest, best, top tier, punny answer you could come up with.
It was so good.
So quick.
And it wasn't like, "Hey, you're hot." He wasn't sending me fire emojis. He wasn't sending me peach emojis.
Right.
He was cutting the shit with me, and it was really cute, and I just immediately gave him my number. Immediately. It was like immediate connection. We kind of went back and forth, and actually it was really funny because we are texting a little bit now, I will say. Spoiler. And he goes, I write back, and I think we had kind of had an interaction, and then a couple days went by, and like I said before, I don't have notifications on. I'm going to get on these apps when I have the right headspace for that. I don't need my watch beeping, telling me that I have people waiting to talk to me. And I was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry that, I didn't have my notifications on." He's like, "No, that's okay." And we're going to talk after work. And he's like, "Hey, call me when you're done with work." And I was like, "Okay, great." I'm like, "Ooh, a little phone call moment." If me and you talk, I love a phone call moment. And I ended up calling him after work, and we talked for 6 hours.
Damn.
And when I tell people this, they think I'm crazy. But it was a 6-hour phone call that felt like an hour. It went by so fast. I talked to him the whole drive home, and then I just sat on my couch and probably like twiddled my fucking hair and like popped my bubble gum while I talked on the phone and just had a ball with this kid for 6 hours.
That's a really long time, but I mean, when you have that connection, it's really special.
Yeah. And there were no lulls. I do have to preface, there was no moment. I have talked to boys on the phone where on the other end, I just want to mute the phone and be like, "Get me the fuck out of this conversation." There was never a moment. The whole conversation went by so smooth.
Well, when people give you shit about a 6-hour phone call, if he would have come over and you guys hung out, that's really not a big deal either.
Right, of course.
You know what I mean? If we're hanging out for 5, 6, 7 hours, that's not a big deal either. Pandemic, also getting to know somebody, just having a phone conversation, like 6 hours. It's not bad.
It couldn't have gone any better, if you want me to be honest, because I have really high functioning anxiety. Through dating, butterflies to me is not good. Butterflies is like a red alert in my stomach. It gives me stomach acid. It makes me not feel good. It's just like a overwhelming. So when people are like, "Oh, you got a butterfly," it's like, no, that's not good.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like dating someone should be calm and easy and comfortable.
We would like.
We would ideally.
But I think that's the goal.
Yes.
Like you need you need to be with somebody that can like, you don't need to be the same, but if you're hella crazy and, you know, freaking out when you're packing for a trip, you need somebody who's chill. So it balances out, you know, like Greg is really good with getting flights and financing, all that stuff. But he puts in the work, but like he'll get hella cheap flights and cheap this and cheap that and works all the deals. I am oblivious. My dad did not teach us any finances at all. No, nothing. So we're just wandering the world, just trying to figure out, you know, we're like, I guess we don't get credit cards because we don't have any money.
Yeah.
And so we're never going to have a credit card for the rest of our life. So, and then now I realize, you buy the things on the credit card and that's how you get the points. You use the points to get the free hotel. You use the points for the travel. And you play the game.
Right.
Some people aren't lucky enough to even get in the game.
Right.
I remember I bought some Matrix posters when Matrix 2 came out, and I think I spent like $200 on these posters, and I like didn't pay for them, and they got sent to collections or my bank account or something crazy happened, and I had to like a wage garnishment
for movie posters.
For Matrix movie posters. So, but yeah, it's in your case, you need somebody that can balance out, you know, the craziness. Otherwise you can't have two people that are just like, you need to be able to find somebody that can manage. Yeah.
And I just think that like it was the best case scenario because for having high functioning anxiety and being able to talk just unfiltered on the phone. I'm in my house. I'm comfortable. I feel safe. He's on the phone asking me questions. We're talking. I'm able to talk about dating history. I'm able to talk about things really freely without feeling judgment or like getting nervous or like having to make eye contact while I'm talking to you about, you know, traumatic exes that I've had or anything, you know, very on brand for us. And it was just lovely. And it was so nice. You know, so we have this lovely conversation and I wake up the next morning at like 6 a.m. and he's just like on the front of my brain and I just can't stop thinking about him and it's really out of character. Very out of character. I leave dates with people and I'm like, never see you again. I'll be cool with it. And, you know, I texted him and I was like, hey, I had such a good time like talking to you last night, getting to know you. I would really like, if work goes great today, you know, would you like to go out tonight? And he was like, say less. And I was like, okay, great. Went to work, text, flirty flirt all day. Let me tell you, an Apple Watch is the best little way to flirt all day. It's just the cutest. Just get a little ring, even if I'm not reading the text at work, because I never look at I'm always working when I'm working. I'm always working. And so after work, it was really nice because I wrote him. I was like, hey, I'll be available at this time. And he was like, great. Do you want to go to this bar by my house? I gave him a couple requirements. And he asked me, he's like, you know, second date, would you be okay if I picked you up? You know, he's like, I know that you know, what did he say?
Yeah.
He was like, I know first date, it might be a little intimidating. I don't need to necessarily pick you up. And I was like, no, like, I feel very comfortable with you. I spoke to you for 6 hours. I know about your family and your life. And it just felt like
I mean,
on the next episode of pdExes,
Alexa gets roasted.
Yes. So after work, I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I would love to meet you like at this time. And he had given me a couple suggestions. You know, he was very adamant about saying, you know, I come from a restaurant family and I had told him that. And he goes, hey, do you give me priority to plan all the dates? And I was like, yeah. Why not? What the fuck? I don't want to have to make a decision. I hate making decisions. I hate making decisions, right?
I am so paranoid that I'm going to fuck up the plans or like, you know what I mean? Like if I pick the wrong hotel or if I pick the wrong flight or we pick a restaurant and the food's not good, like I overthink that. And I get so nervous if I pick a restaurant for me and Greg to go to and it's not great. I feel like morally like I'm
you
letting the
ruined
universe
everything.
down.
Yes, you ruined everything. It's
the
your fault.
anxiety is strong, and so I'm always nervous.
Well, the controlling Virgo that I am, I let him pick the date, but I gave him a few parameters.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you're going to pick me up, I want it to be someplace close to my house. I want to go someplace somewhat nearby. I was like, I want low key. And he was like, great. How about this bar? And this bar is down the street from my house. And I hadn't been there in a really long time, at least since the pandemic.
Right.
And he was like, great, let's go. And so I'm kind of thinking, and I'm like, and so about 30 minutes goes by. And I text him. I was like, hey, can I call an audible? And he's like, yes, always. What do you want? And I was like, that bar is going to be really loud, and I would just really love to go sit someplace quiet and cute where I can sit next to you and give you all of my attention and be able to actually hear what you're saying.
Right.
Because like I said before, the last thing I want to do is go to a busy restaurant and pay more attention to the people who are working than my hot date sitting next to me.
Right.
So he picks me up. He takes me to this cute little spot, cute little whiskey bar. We walk in. He lets me pick wherever I wanted to sit, and I sat right with my back up to the wall, so there was nothing going on behind me. And as news to me, when you and Greg go out, do you guys ever sit on the same side of the booth? Ever? And leave one side open?
Sometimes, but usually...
But you've done it.
Every so often, sometimes we will, because we do... So Greg and I like to get... Well, whenever we go eat, a lot of times I'll get something and he'll get something. And he kind of does this a lot because we get to try 2 meals, right? Which usually for me, I'm like, bitch, I'm eating this whole chimichanga.
Yes.
I am
let me see that
mentally dividing it up in the order I want to eat it.
Yes.
And so, but with Greg, what's nice is we'll go somewhere, like we went to London and, instead of me just getting my one thing, now we get to both share.
Right.
Obviously marriage, it's about sharing.
Right.
But
is it?
Is it when it comes to food? But I really appreciate that because, I get to try multiple things. So sometimes we'll sit side by side, but we're both pretty big. And so, we'd have to be like on a park bench, or someplace like a booth, but like,
my power move is if I'm on a date with you, I need to be like breathing the same air as you.
Yeah.
So we walk into this cute little bar. I sit with my back to the table, and it's a 2-sided table. So there's a booth that we're sitting on strategically. Nothing happens by accident. And then there's 2 chairs on the other side. And I look at him. I'm like, would you like to sit with me? And he's like, of course. I'd love to sit next to you. Waitress comes over. She's a little sassy. We just wanted simple, easy. I let him pick for me. I'm like, 2 of whatever you want. We get 2 whiskey sours. And we just sit there and we have the best conversation. We just talk and laugh and giggle.
Nice.
And I look over and the girl is she's 2 tables over and she's under the table. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And she's sticking a coaster under the table so her table doesn't wiggle anymore. And so then me, being the outgoing person that I am, I'm like, oh, good for her. I like start clapping for her. I'm like, yay. I was like, you fixed the table. And so then we're kind of laughing. And now this table is talking with us and we're kind of having a cute moment. And the bartender walks back over. And so we're all talking and it was just good vibes, right?
I want to interject because Alexa has not watched Curb Your Enthusiasm. And there is a whole thing about side sitting and wobbly tables that she just mentioned. That's all in the show.
And I love Mac Miller, so I should watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. But
we're huge Seinfeld family, right? But has not really watched Curb. And so
great. I can't wait for the fan responses. For this. Great. I can't wait for all my friends.
It's just great because it's all this stupid shit we talk about like that, where you're just like,
are we a new age? Are we a new age Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yeah.
Maybe. I've never even seen it.
Yeah.
Well,
it'll be
basically,
curb your urethraism. Curb your urethra.
This is our life now.
This is our life.
This is our life now.
Wobbly table.
Okay, wobbly table. So let me preface. The night before when we were on the phone call, we were getting to know each other. 6 hours. I mean, lot of time to talk about stuff. And he basically let me know that like first kisses are really hard for him. Because he's like, I just respect your boundaries so much that it's kind of hard for like, when can I get in there?
Right.
That's music to a bitch's ears. You're gonna let me kiss you for the say less. You're gonna let me kiss you you're gonna let me kiss you for the first time, and I don't have to fucking even worry about your approach to me. sign it. Where do I sign? Where's the fucking dotted line? Like, what's up? And so I basically asked him, I was like, okay, great. So you're basically consenting, because consent is important.
Right.
I was like, so you're basically consenting for me to be able to basically just grab your face and kiss you whenever I want first date. And he's like, yes, of course. He's like, yep, absolutely. So my big brain, I was like, I'm going to kiss him immediately, right? He's like, I'm going to kiss him immediately. It's going to be super great. And he pulls up. I walk out and I go out and I just know I'm looking great. I know I smell great. I know my fucking hair is right. I know everything is fucking right because I just felt good. Everything felt super right for this. No butterflies, no anxiety. It just felt like I was meeting like an old friend. Yeah, like it felt like we were meeting and I was just super excited because I just knew so many things about you. It wasn't like scary first date.
Yeah.
And he's parked out in front of my house. I walk out and I open the door and lean my head in and I go, hi, are you my Uber?
Oh, it's so good.
And he goes, get in the car. So I get in the car and sit down and I was immediately just going to kiss him.
Right.
I will say, if I could change anything, if you are there to pick up a girl, get out of the car. Get out of the car so I can give you a hug.
Right.
I want there to be some kind of, if it's a first date and we're in the car, am I going to get my first hug? I want you to, what did she say in Friends? You get all the pheromones out of the top of your head. I need you to hug me.
Yeah.
That would be the only thing I would change.
I don't know. Bitch, get in the goddamn car
okay,
so we can get to the goddamn.
Whatever.
Okay, we're gonna.
But I like that. That was funny. I like that. Yeah. I think that's funny. I think that's important.
Well, because like it's just like let's go. Like
as a woman,
I know, but that's the same as like.
And I just don't smell good.
They say you gotta like when a woman walks in, you're supposed to stand up and chin. Fuck all that.
Equality.
No, it's just like that's like old shit, you know.
Okay, what was I saying? Okay, so my plan was I was going to get in the car. You know, I cracked the Uber joke,
right?
Which I later found out he said was just top tier. Yeah. That he just was like so in love that I had said that. It was so funny. He said he told all his friends that because it just was like, you know, we talk and have all this, you know, lovey good moments, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, "Hi, are you my Uber?" And he was like, "What the fuck is this girl saying? Get in the car."
Well, like what's so good is like you're expecting a thing. And you come in with some other shit. No, for real. And that is like my lifeblood is like, I will say the thing that is completely out of left field just for the joke.
Yes.
Because you're not expecting it.
Yeah, it was so good.
Nice.
So I get in the car, we're laughing, and I can't kiss him because he's so handsome that like, I'm just taking it all in and my brain can't compute. And so I miss the moment to kiss him until we get to the restaurant. So then we're in the restaurant. Wobbly table, right? Setting the stage. I'm setting the stage for the story. We're talking. We're 2 drinks in. It's very cute. We're breathing the same air. It's very, very cute. So I look over at the other table and the dude saw that we had sat on the same side of the booth.
Right.
So he slid his chair over to her. So he was sitting across. And so then he slid. So he was next to her. And then next thing I look over, these motherfuckers are making out. And so then in my head, I'm like, well, I've been trying to kiss this guy for the last like 2.5 hours.
Right.
And now I can't because it looks like the inception is their idea.
Right.
So then we're kind of laughing and he's very aware. So we're both kind of like, you know, making the little signs because they're like noisily making out, like sloppily making out. Right. And so we're kind of laughing. So then eventually they get up and leave and a couple minutes go by and I just grab his face and I just kiss his face a couple times and it was really cute and really sweet. And I looked at him and I just was like, I was trying to do that for so long and I was not going to let these motherfuckers at the other table make you think that I wasn't my idea originally.
That's cute.
Yeah. And it was just a cute moment. I'm really excited to hang out with him again. It's very, very, I will say there is nothing sweeter than genuine effort.
Right. Well, and then, I like that he's kind of different.
Yes.
Funny. You can have a good conversation. And I think a lot of your anxieties that you've had were because the things weren't lining up correctly.
Right.
And it just felt forced or you felt like, oh shit, I got to go hang out with this guy. I don't really know him. And it sounds like, you know,
potential
6-hour conversation.
Gross.
Yeah. Yeah. No, please don't get a boyfriend while we started a podcast about dating. You're not allowed.
Well, I don't even know how I'm going to broach the subject that I'm fucking telling everyone about our first date on my fucking podcast.
Oh, yeah. So do you let the guy listen to the podcast? I mean, how do you not? But you know what I mean? Like, I would say yes. I would say if Greg asked me anything, I would answer. I mean, we already like tell everybody everything.
I'm an open book.
You know?
I'm an open book.
But it's are they okay with everybody knowing what the inside of your asshole looks like? You know what I mean?
Did you see those pictures?
No, gross. Okay. But like Greg's big thing is, you know,
well, it's privacy.
It's a lot of people don't. Moments. Yeah, a lot of people don't have these conversations, and we're trying to normalize conversation.
Right.
You know, yes, I talk about chlamydia, or hooking up, or like, you know, it. For us, it's just like we don't care.
Right.
We talk about this all the time. Not in a gross way. Well, you know, I don't.
It takes a lot to be. It genuinely would take a lot to embarrass me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
feel like people are like, "Oh, you're listening to your sister talk about sucking dick." I'm like, okay, I do it too. You know what I mean? Like, and so yeah, I don't mind. You know, when work people say they're going to listen to it or whatever, I don't really mind.
I mean, I will say I've had a sea of coworkers that listen to it, and to have them tell me that they think I'm funny is a huge compliment.
It's good. Being funny it's tough, but very rewarding. Mm-hmm. Being funny, I mean, it's just like naturally for me.
Are you my Uber?
But yeah, I love making people laugh. I love. You know, being vulnerable and sharing stories. And, you know, if I can help somebody out, people can learn something. Mm-hmm. Why not?
So, Ryan, do you want to enlighten your straight sister on what gay pride is?
Yeah. So, pride happens in June. Now, well, for most cities, happens in June.
Do we know why it's June?
I believe the Stonewall riots happened in June. And basically that's why we picked June. It's also very cute out. And so it's a good time in the summer. But yeah, from what I understand, back in, it was like 1969, it was not easy being gay. So a lot of gays would flock to
gay and trans.
Yes. Yeah. They would all flock to gay bars, and police would come. And I guess at the time, like if you were a man, you know, and you were dressed in women's clothes or vice versa, they could come in and, you know, harass you or arrest you.
Right.
These laws are still in places in the world. Like, this is nothing new.
Right.
But, you know, it's pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. And they would just do these raids on these establishments. And I guess they had some undercover cops, or some cops came in and caused a ruckus. Mm-hmm. And then the Stonewall riots happened.
Yeah.
And it's not really like probably the start of it, but it was one of the things that kind of started the
right. One of the people I know is Marsha P. Johnson, was one of the activists that I heard from what I learned, you know, thankfully enough through RuPaul's Drag Race. Right. I will say that I learned a tremendous amount of gay history through Drag Race, which I'm very, very thankful of, because the same thing, it's just, gay culture has shaped so much and has done so much for culture as we know it right now. And I don't think a lot of people have awareness of that.
Well, we see like RuPaul's Drag Race, and you see it on TV, and you're like, everything's great. And, you know, it's still tough.
Yeah. Stonewall. What's another iconic reference is Paris is Burning.
Paris is Burning is a really good drag documentary. And that kind of covers ballroom culture. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things that, you know, you might hear in like current drag culture or drag, you know, when they're talking is like eleganza or, you know, all these like terms that you would hear came kind of from that ball culture. And if you haven't seen Paris is Burning, it's a very, very good movie.
But yeah, I learned a lot. I learned so much from RuPaul's Drag Race, and I was very fortunate to be able to be exposed to that. I also, truthfully, learned how to do makeup on my face by watching Drag Race. I mean, like I said, I started watching Drag Race like season 5, season 6. And that was when girls were doing the letter 3 brown contour on your face, where you're trying to contour and Korean, all this, you had all this product, and I could never quite get my makeup right. And I remember watching the girls on Drag Race. Yeah. And, you know, for those of you who don't know, again, you should watch RuPaul's Drag Race.
It's a good show.
You learn a lot about the queens in their boys, you know, as their boy self. And, you know, you get to see these boys put on makeup and they just transform. Yeah. And there's just something so magical about it. And I just remember watching queens do their makeup and do their contour that had the same face shape as me.
Yeah.
And I was like, bitch, I should be doing it like that. What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember like watching drag queens do their eyelashes, and like I learned so much from that. And so I, you know, as a straight woman, like I have so much respect. You know, that would be like, I remember they did the RuPaul's Drag Race tour and they came to the Crystal Ballroom, and that was when I saw Raja Gemini for the very first time, and I damn near pissed myself.
Yeah.
She was so beautiful, floating on stage. And the one thing she said was, she was like, I'm so fortunate because I'm from season 3. That was before the show was really big.
Yep.
And so she got to go on tour because she was, you know, iconic.
Yep.
And she got to go on tour, and one thing she had said was, she goes, I'm so fortunate to be here that I'm still relevant.
Yeah.
Because
she is on the new All Stars, All Winners, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's great. She has performed at my friend's party, Blow Pony.
In Portland.
It's, oh my God, how many years? It's like 13 years or something. It's 14 years.
It had probably been like a month since I saw her,
Right.
and you called me and you were like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow?
Yeah,
I remember specifically, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, getting off
Who's
work.
your favorite drag queen again? She's like, Raja. And I was like, do you want to come to Blow Pony and
meet her?
Yeah.
You want to come hang out and you want to come meet her. And I just was like, oh, babe. Like, I
well, I do their website, and I've been around. I mean, I think it had been going for 1 year before I really got involved with the group. I had still gone a bunch, but yeah, that first year I wasn't really involved. And then I've been doing their website and doing little updates and stuff. But it's a really good queer party in Portland. It's recently changed venues, just because different reasons and stuff. But
well, and that was one thing that I would say, like, that was the first time as like a straight woman that I ever felt not out of place, because I never feel out of place. I always feel like everything's so accepting and so loving. And when you go to these events and these gay parties and all this culture, like, it's just about acceptance, right? Because that's the one thing, like, we talk about, like, with Stonewall, like, there was no fucking acceptance. So when you go into these events now, it's not about like people watching, and like, as like a straight woman, I can say I'm there with like fucking acceptance.
Right.
And I'm there to just be around my friends, and I'm there with you, and it's your community of people. And, you know, it's definitely not something, like you said, like, leave our bars alone. Like, it's something that you're going and it's going to be fun. If you're the straight one of the group and you're tagging along, like, it's a fun night. People aren't there to hit on you or make you feel uncomfortable. Like, you are now in their domain, and just...
So one of the things that we struggle with at gay bars is a bachelorette party. And yes, I get it. It's you and your girls, and you want to go out, and you want
feel
to
safe
space, and the music and the drinks. But like, I just want to speak for myself, but I want to kind of say the community is just sick of it. It's just because what happens is you get drunk and you're like, meh, and you're bumping into people and you get rude, and then it's like you're in our space, where you can literally go anywhere. Yes, men are gross and blah blah blah, but like, you have the entire planet to go. We have pockets of space where we
have this
can go,
little tiny bar in
and
this
that
one pocket
we have
of
created, and we are here and we are supporting, and then you're going to come in and just kind of like use up the space and not be respectful.
Use you as entertainment.
And it just can get a little gross. And but you know, obviously it's COVID, so nobody's
it gets a little messy. All right.
And I'm all down for people who want to have a good time, but I think you have to respect the space, because that's where we're going out to be vulnerable and to like suck cock and, you know, meet new people. And it's already a lot just being gay anyway. Most gay men are probably cool as a cucumber, you know, but there's a lot of anxiety. Are we going to get hit in the head?
I hadn't thought about it. It gave me really good perspective in our first episode when you talked about getting outed. And it had never fucking occurred to me that that would be a concern. It would as a straight woman, it had never occurred to me that like someone could literally come for your entire existence. And someone could literally ruin your entire life because...
I mean, you talk about celebrities and they're always like, why didn't you come out sooner? Or, you know what I mean? And then like, it's such a big deal coming out, and like, but the reason why is because it is a big deal. And society has made it a big deal. when Ricky Martin came out, I was like, oh my God, you know, and some people are like, oh, we knew, but like that is a hard decision to do regardless of whether you're famous or not.
Right.
Even like there's a whole thing with rappers and they're like, oh, these rappers are gay. And, oh yeah. And all these like radio shows, they'll be like ragging on people, but they'll be like, just come out. And it's like, you're creating an environment that is not what anybody wants to come out to. If you're a rapper and you want to come out, you have to go talk on every fucking radio show. You have to go talk to the entire planet and do this whole tour now to explain yourself and your reasoning and blah, blah, blah. And people shouldn't have to do that. People should come out on their own terms when they feel comfortable, when they feel like they can. And the unfortunate fact is in Hollywood, they don't want to cast a gay person, some nobody gay guy to be their leading man in their franchise. Right. They're just not going to do it. Mm-hmm. If you're established and then you come out, well, you have all this weight behind you. Mm-hmm. But like, there's still like, hey, how do we sell this gay guy as our leading action guy to Oklahoma and Texas and, in parts of the world where they don't like gay people, whatever. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, with that same thing being said, like I have a friend who is recently within the last couple of years dating a girl and it's her first girlfriend ever. Right. First girlfriend ever. She's been a little curious, through my friendship with her, I've only known her to date boys. She is dating this girl right now and they are the fucking cutest. Yeah. They are so cute. She fills her cup. She takes care of her. It's like checks all these boxes that she never knew. And the girl that she's dating has been open and out for a very long time. Right. And they're together. And my friend comes from a specific heritage where it's just not accepted. Right. Doesn't matter. You're my daughter. Right. Doesn't matter. You're my parents. Like, it's just a no. And, her girlfriend feels very, very passionate that she needs to come out to her family and wants her to really own up that, they're together and they're in this relationship. And her and I had this conversation, and that's why I wanted to bring it up on this podcast because, she loves her girlfriend so much and they are in this committed relationship. But on the scale of gayness and how long and accepting, she has only been in it for 2 years. Right. Her girlfriend has been in it and accepting it, and I guess has known since she was like 8 or 10 years old, right? And you're almost in your 30s now. That's a long time to have ownership and process and, knowing you and growing up with you. Like, I knew, but I didn't know until you told me, right? And so that was never a decision that, you can make for someone. Right. And so for her, it's really important for her girlfriend to know that it doesn't make her any less in love with her, because she's not open and honest, because that's going to change her entire family dynamic. Right. And in a grand scheme of things, maybe 8 years down the line, if she was as far along in her journey as the girlfriend, situation might be a little different.
Well, Greg came out when he was 35. Mm. So some people come out super late. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is, again, just going through the motions, thinking that, things are going to be different. Right. And because you don't really have anything to compare it to. And then once you fall in love or you meet somebody, then you're just like, oh shit, this is really cool.
This feels right.
This feels right. But everybody's got their own journey, and even if you think you might know, and you could always ask, but everyone's got their own journey that they got to go on. And everyone's at a different stage, and
it's okay to be curious too. Yeah, I think that's another thing.
Also, you don't have to be gay. You don't have to be straight. You can be bi. You can be trans. You can be whatever you want. You don't have to label it.
So, like, what does pride mean to you?
It's a really good question, because pride for me is being my true self, being authentic, not having to hide anything, but also being visible for other people that might be questioning. So when I came out, when I went to Pride, it was so cool to see all these people out. Mm-hmm. I was just like holding hands, and people didn't have any shirts on. And I just saw all different areas of the gay community. There's, the bears and trans people and, the twinks, so all different aspects. And you just saw everyone hanging out, and it was so nice. So even somebody who might not even be out yet, they're getting that visibility to know that there is a safe space. Right. And that there are people they can see themselves in, in this community. And I think that is very, very important, because there's always this conversation about like, oh, when is straight pride? Like any other month.
Yeah, that's just don't with that. That's just
it's just
so
tasteless. You literally can go anywhere on the planet, and there's going to be somebody like you. There's going to be somebody on TV like you. There's going to be action figures and toys geared towards you. We got it. Okay. And I know you might feel uncomfortable and you're like, oh, dude, blah, blah, blah. You literally have everything.
Right.
Easy. You get it. You see yourself on TV. You have your representation everywhere. As a gay man, you don't get that.
Right.
Or when it is, it's, the really skinny guy with abs.
Right.
With no beard. And so when I was figuring out whether I was gay, I was like, well, I like sucking dick and I like hanging out with dudes, but I don't look like a skinny guy. So how can I be gay? Because the gays I see on TV, it's just these skinny, muscly guys who are super, super feminine, so it just doesn't make sense. But now you see there's fat, hairy guys, and there's all aspects of it. And
that's
so
a good, I never
it's really,
thought about
it's really
that
important because you just don't.
Visibility.
Yeah. It's just like everyone makes a ruckus, when there's like, oh, we're going to have a black woman superhero. And everyone's like, outrage. But when Black Panther came out, kids are able to see themselves in these roles.
As that superhero, yes.
Yeah. And then even if they're like, oh, there's a gay superhero, there's outrage. And it's like, who fucking cares?
Right.
When J.K. Rowling, back when we liked her, she was like, oh, Dumbledore's gay. And everyone was outraged. It's like, the magic show has a gay person in it and you're mad about the gay person and not the magic shit? Like, what the fuck?
For real, to be honest.
But being gay shouldn't be this taboo thing.
Right.
No matter what happens, gay people aren't going away. We're not going to get back in the closet. We just want to exist. And had the AIDS stuff never happened, we would have the numbers. And I know that sounds weird.
Right.
So many people were lost.
Right.
And we lost
now you have to explain that a little bit, right? So we had the AIDS epidemic where so many people in the gay community
the government
died.
It's kind of it's like the pandemic that we have now.
Yes.
With COVID.
Yes.
But there was no government response, acknowledgement at all. From what I remember.
Yes.
It just, and like, if you had AIDS, you were dirty. We were demonized, and we were made to be filthy and like gross. And there was just nothing. There was no medication. All the meds that people ended up taking were probably doing more damage. People were just afraid to use the same toilet seats. Right. It was insane.
So then basically you have, a collective of people that you have removed from history.
No, it's so when you see like an older gay man, that is rare.
Yes.
It is rare.
Yes.
You always see like, Ian McKellen or whatever. There would be so many more people like him had there not been AIDS.
Which is not something that you really can, put together.
Right. There's so many artists, actors, just people.
Yeah, that we lost to AIDS. Absolutely.
And we lose that, when you seek guidance, what do? You go
Ask
talk to
your elders.
A grandma, grandpa, somebody. Gay people don't have that. We don't have a lot. I mean, now there's more people, but like they were just not there. And so when you see an older gay couple, it's almost like, whoa, crazy. Wow. But like, shouldn't be crazy.
No,
it's just, we lost so many of those people.
Right. So you're not seeing it.
Yeah. And so we would have so much more visibility had AIDS not happened or had there been a different response to it. And so we're still recovering from that visibility. Pride is really important. Please, if you go to Pride, just be respectful. You are welcome to come. You're welcome to hang out. You can ask a friend. You can come be a part of it.
Yes.
Just be respectful. Don't, and also like there's a whole thing about like, oh, there shouldn't be this visibility and, people shouldn't be in harnesses or there shouldn't be this gross kissing or whatever. Every summer it happens. Some group gets upset that, there's all this debauchery happening at Pride or whatever. And to that I say, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.
This is our space and we will do whatever we please.
And you only, and like I say only, but like you only get a month.
Yeah. I mean, we get to be debaucherous
but
year.
You are only celebrated for a year. Yeah. And right after Pride comes America Day. So you take all of the rainbow flags and all of this, and it's literally replaced with the American flag and Beer Day. And it's, you know, and so it's like, if we could pass anything on, it's just creating that visibility. Right. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there's always this, I just, you know, I like gay stuff. I just don't want to see it. You know, I always hear about that all the time. Oh, I don't mind gay stuff. I just don't want it in my face, or I don't want to see it and blah, blah, blah. And you know, fuck you. People that don't can't stomach people kissing, gays kissing or holding hands. You need to get over that. Two guys holding hands. What's any different? It's skin and skin. Right. I talked to my doctor and she said that the same skin in the vagina is in the butthole. It's the same skin.
I heard, you don't want to hear one better? I heard your lips are the same, the same skin as your butthole.
Yes. I mean, it's all the same shit, but you know what I mean? Like, two guys holding hands, your life isn't going to be ruined from seeing that. These are two people that are in love, that want to hang out. I still, when Greg and I hold hands, it still bothers me sometimes, as not like, oh, I don't mind holding hands, but like, am I going to get hit over the head with a fucking bottle? Right. Is someone going to sucker punch me? Right. Is someone not going to be okay and I got to have an argument? Right. And I am a lucky one where I haven't really had any weird, crazy shit happen. I've had friends that have had things thrown at them. They've gotten beaten up. They have had crazy shit happen to them from holding someone's hand. Right. Because some dude is like, I can't process this because whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. And so we need that visibility. We need that to bring people up in a good community where they can feel supported and they can ask questions and they can feel like they have a home. Yeah. And it's about awareness. I think some of the other stuff that's really cool. I think some of my favorite like Pride moments when I like look at all the things that go viral, like the cool moments is like the parents that are out there that are like, do you want a hug from a mom or do you need a hug from a dad? And it's these people and it's just like, I get goosebumps now. Yeah. And like, I'm not even affected by that. And it's just like such a cool moment to be like, oh, you need a hug from a mom? Like, I love you. Right. You're accepted. Right. You're a cool person, because they say so much of it is like your chosen family. Yeah. I mean, there's still kids out. There's probably somebody out right now who's coming out to their parent and the parent's like, get the fuck out. Right. Yeah. Get out. Get out. Like, you know what I mean? And like, how are you going to turn away your child because of, you know, and like, well, the other thing is like, we don't choose this. Right. I don't choose to be gay. Right. This is something I chose. I was put together with the components, and the sucking cock one went in and the eating vagina one didn't get put in. And all the things that you want to do with a girl, whatever the fuck you want to do, that's what I got, but for dudes. Right. It's nothing crazy. But why do I care? Why do I care? Why do people give a fuck? Yeah. The reason why is because churches and politicians want to demonize gays. They don't like it. And a lot of times the person that tells you that homosexuality is bad, and the ones that make the laws, they're the ones that end up getting caught sucking dick. So I have heard or read that there is people that have made laws banning gay stuff or like making laws against gay people. And then one of the guys ended up with smoking like crack or meth with a gay guy. And the guy saw this like show or documentary or whatever the dude was in and was like, I think that's the dude I just smoked crack with in this fucking hotel room and we did gay shit. And this guy is out there like preaching that gays are bad and blah, blah, blah. So like to anybody that is like gays are bad, you better check yourself, bitch, because they probably like sucking dick. It happens all the fucking time. All the time. It's the same thing they say with politicians passing laws about abortions, where their mistresses would never go without an abortion if that was it. You gotta question the politicians and anybody in power, anybody in a place where they're making laws or why do you not? Who cares? Two dudes having sex and hanging out. All Greg and I like to do is making each other laugh. We eat popcorn, watch TV. We go on trips together. We're the cutest couple. And why would you want not that? You know what I mean? Like, why would you not want that for people?
I wouldn't want you to be with a girl if it made you unhappy.
For what? What's the point?
So you can be miserable?
Miserable, and then it doesn't work. Yeah. And is that fair for a woman?
No.
You know, like everybody should be fulfilled and like have person to be with. That's the goal. And, you know, Pride is fun. It's good for the month, but, you know, we should also be supporting people all year, providing safe spaces, sexual education. Safe spaces,
donating to foundations and things that are like, I know there's like the Matthew Shepard Foundation is very important. There's a lot of things that are out there that are, you know, a lot of people focus on them. Pride Month, they do exist outside of that.
Right.
So creating awareness, making sure, you know, and also the same thing, have these conversations. Yeah. Have these conversations with your friends. You know, it's okay to be curious as long as it comes from a good place.
Yep. And we just need, if your friends are making comments about gay people, you have to check them.
Yes.
You have to stand up for your friends. You have to stand up for the friends that you might not have yet.
Right.
Like we just can't. Gay people can't be the punchline anymore. Trans people can't be the punchline.
Right. But it goes further. Gay people, trans people using the word retarded, using words very loosely. Right. If something makes you feel yucky, you don't necessarily have to flame your friends, but you can create that awareness. Yeah, you know, we don't use the word retarded. It is just, there are so many other words in our vernacular that you can use that it does not have to be such an easy dig like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's gonna, like, you're gonna find somebody in your life you're gonna be connected to at some point.
Right.
And you have to cash those checks at some point.
But it's also mental health too, because for every celebrity that you're digging mental health for the, you know, domestic abuse trials that are existing in the media right now, like, your friends and family see the way that you are making fun of these people, and your friends with mental illnesses see the way that you are digging on these celebrities. And your friends who have been in domestic abuse are seeing and listening how you are poking fun and making light of shit like this. And you are perpetuating. Your joke is not that fucking funny. Check yourself. And like you said, I hope if someone is talking out of their ass, you feel empowered enough to maybe check that privilege.
Yep. And it just, it's just all those little, and I hate to say microaggression, but it's all those little things that add up. We need to be sticking up for our friends, our family. I see it all the time where like a gay guy will, you know, they'll be getting made fun of or something. Everyone just stands around and watches.
Yeah.
You know, we need to stand up for these people. It just, you know, it's crazy. We need to live in a better world. It's the future. I mean, we're still 2022. We're still fighting for gay rights in every country.
In every sense of the word. Yes,
I mean, there's some places that got to lock down, but like they're making a conscious effort to like fix it. And it starts with you. It starts with your language. All these comedians now, I mean, like Dave Chappelle, he's still going with the trans stuff. And yes, he is very funny. And he puts it together and it's funny, but like you are in a position where people look at what you're saying and you are just saying, I can make fun of this. You can make fun of it too. And the thing that I loved it, I'm such a big fan. But like, and I get his point of why he continues to do it. It's just like with South Park where they're like, I just got to make fun of everybody, blah, blah, blah. But you're telling people it's okay.
You're setting an example. You're setting the
precedence. People look up to you. And when you're in that position, you have to be careful what you say. Trans people are getting murdered all the time. It is so tough because trans people have been demonized and it's gross and ugly and whatever. They're probably more scared of going out because you can hide it, but you can't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like when you start to like date somebody, then it's all the conversation about the genitals because that's everyone wants to talk about trans genitals all the time. Oh, are they there? Are they not there? Are they going to stay or leave? Like everyone's so fixated on the genitals. I'm just like, they need to be left out.
Right.
Some people have to, I mean, that's a huge surgery and all that. I mean, it's not, you just don't go in and you're like, oh, here's your new genitals.
Right.
And then things get messed up and there's consequences and like this whole conversation, when you like, oh, have you had a surgery yet, is insane. Does not need to happen at all. Like we should not even like. The best that I can explain, if you're listening and you're not sure how trans stuff works, let's say you're a dude or a girl. You feel exactly how you feel now. So like in your case, you're a woman. You would feel exactly how you feel, woman, titties, vagina, everything. But you would be a man with a dick. But you would feel exactly how you feel now. But the outside doesn't match how you feel on the inside. And that is really confusing. And that is what the trans thing basically is. And some people, it's probably at a different spectrum.
Sure, of course.
But like, it'd be like me and going like, oh, but I feel like I should have tits and a vagina and I feel like a woman, but my outside stuff doesn't match the inside stuff. That's it. And now you have to do that and figure that out. And a lot of people go a long time without figuring that out.
Right.
And then when you do figure it out, then it's like, okay, well, now what? And so it's tough.
Yeah.
Nobody in their right mind would be like, yes, can I have the mismatched brain things with the, nobody wants to deal with that.
Right.
I would not give up.
Huge ask.
I would not give up being gay for millions of dollars. I think it's one of the best things that have ever happened to me. I am so happy. But if you asked me before I was put on this planet and said, hi, would you like to be different from everybody and be sexually attracted to things that everyone, I'd probably be like, you know what? I'm good. Just give me the normal stuff,
normal special, please.
You know what I mean? And so like with trans people, it's a tough journey. You go out and you meet somebody and you start making out and you're like, oh, hey, actually I'm trans. And now the dude wants to fucking murder you because he's confused. And his friends dog on trans. Oh my God. What, you know what I mean? Right. This happens all the time and it's so tough. And instead of everybody being like, oh, trans in sport, why don't you love somebody and help and offer, like people are confused. They need help.
Meet people with kindness.
Yeah. And when you get these celebrities that make these jokes, yes, I get it. It's comedy. You should be able to say whatever you want. It's just a joke. But it is such a tough subject, and you are basically telling people it's okay to also make those jokes, and those people aren't funny.
Right. They're hurtful.
And now all Dave Chappelle would have had to do was just say, hey, I'm really sorry. I understand where you guys are, where you're all coming from. That's it. I'm really sorry. I did not realize the impact that I had.
Absolutely. Awareness.
And
voicing that you had awareness in that moment.
And then what also happens is, you get one person that's like, oh, actually, it wasn't a big deal. Hi, I'm trans. And you go, oh, well, this one person said. And then you take that and you go, this is my permission to continue to the jokes because I have one person that said it was fine.
It's tough.
And I don't know. I like Dave Chappelle. And, it kind of sucks because
it's like a conflict of interest.
You just kind of continue to just go and go and go. And I get the comedy, like you should be able to make fun of whatever, but like so many people look up to you.
Use your platform for good.
And you just need to like, just, I don't know. And you don't have to cave. You don't have to go like, I was wrong. You just can just not. You can just go like, I understand trans people getting murdered every day. That's it. I'm really sorry. I didn't realize. You're not getting rid
of your authenticity at all by apologizing.
Right.
You're not giving up any of yourself, your fame, your nothing. You're
people look
nothing.
up to you.
I think it's just so important to have acknowledgement of like how many eyes are on you,
right?
And who's looking up to you,
yeah.
and those moments where you can, really impact someone that you don't even know,
right?
And you can really be so powerful. It's kind of like when we talk about like using the self-defense. Like, I don't want you to use that, but I want you to be able to take these tools and I want you to be able to use them for good. It's the same thing with this. Like, if you have a platform and you're an influencer or like us on this podcast, like we want to inspire, I want to just get you thinking.
Right.
Just fucking think. If you're out there and you're, on one side or the other, if we can just spark thought and spark interest.
Conversation.
Yes, please have conversations.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we have this conversation and someone wants to talk to their parents, or maybe someone's going to reach out after a ruined connection and, offer someone some kindness.
Yep. Yeah. If you're in an elevated, platform, what's more important, the joke or your impact?
Right.
And so I think as people rise to fame and they get more, acknowledgement and people, you have to understand that your words hold value.
Yeah.
And there's so much more you could do for good than a joke. Don't go for the easy joke. I get it. But
it would just be like circling back to Stonewall. Martha P. Johnson in that moment was like, I'm not fucking dealing with these cops coming in here and fucking with my friends. Right. And all we're trying to do is dance and have a cute little time. Yep. And you guys want to come in here and you want to fucking start a problem. I'm not about it.
Yep.
And that's why you're able to fucking sit here now and talk about your history and talk about privileges that people back then weren't able to have.
Yep.
And it's so important.
Know your history.
Know your fucking history.
Yeah, I highly encourage anybody to do some research. So many people lost such a imagine if AIDS hadn't happened. Like, it'd be insane. It'd be insane right now.
Think of all the creatives and all the people
gay people. I mean, yes, people like hated on gays before then, but like AIDS made gay sex gross. It made it scary. It made it easy target. And that's passed down generation after generation, even though now people, you talk about AIDS and they kind of know, but like people aren't really dying from it. They're able to live pretty good lives. And yeah.
Especially with the Gen Z age gap, like I hate to say it, but there's a lot of kids, like I work with a girl who doesn't know what the fuck AOL is. Yeah. So there's so much awareness that could be created just by asking questions and having conversations. Yep. So thank you for sharing about gay pride and thank you for, being vulnerable because it's super important. It's super important that we're able to have these conversations. I know that people, the feedback that we're getting on this podcast is people are just love that we're having an authentic conversation, and as from, brother and sister, like we understand that not everyone's family dynamic is like ours. Not everyone has someone that you can talk about sucking dick and eating butthole with, but like, it's important to be able to check in on your friends. So if you hear this, make sure that you reach out to some friends and tell them you love them. And, hopefully you guys have some cool gay pride plans for the weekend and just go out and be safe. And make sure that you fucking stand up for the little guy because people are always watching and it's really going to be a cool moment to, have someone come up to you maybe after you check someone and say, hey, I felt yucky and hearing you say that made me really feel empowered. So
I would love for one day, and I can't remember there's a celebrity that said something similar. When people we shouldn't be making a deal when people come out. It should be normal, Right. If you're like, hey, I'm gay, everyone's like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Great.
Yeah, cool. Like coming out shouldn't be a big deal. People shouldn't feel that they have to hide. It should be normal. And we should be empowering people to be their authentic self. Just needs to happen.
Yeah. Love is love.
Love is love. Talk to your friends about pride. If you got a gay friend, ask them what pride means to them. Like, you're welcome to come hang out, but don't be a douchebag. And just remember, this is our space. We're there to hang out. We're there to dress crazy, act crazy, look cute, and get all sweaty. And
covered in glitter.
I hate glitter.
Oh, God.
Talking about glitter, I actually have a really nice rant on glitter. I started a YouTube series with my friend Sean, who's also gay.
Are you two-timing me?
I am two-timing you. Although I started seeing you guys at the same time, so...
I guess we hadn't had a conversation about being mutually exclusive.
It's kind of a three-way.
So okay.
We're in a throuple, but you guys aren't going to speak to each other.
Love it. Perfect. I'm here for that.
It's very Portland. It's very polyamorous. But yeah, you can live in separate houses and no communication.
Perfect. Love it.
But it's called Ouch, I'm Gay. And it's great.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Series. Yeah. We'll put the link in the bottom so you can check it out. I think we got 2 or 3 episodes out already. A lot more debauchery and gayness and fabulousness.
I would definitely recommend it to you if you are one of the few motherfuckers who have come to me in the last month or so and told me how they think you're funnier than I am. I would love to refer you to Ouch, I'm Gay.
Wow. So like 99% of our...
Fuck off. All right. That's it for this week. Bye, guys.
Okay. So that's all.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye.